Okay, thank you all for being here today. Before we get started, I want to first convey my deepest condolences to the people of Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso, Texas, and most certainly the citizens of this city who've been affected by just a tragic level of violence within a society that's become immune to these types of shootings. So I'm going to stop myself from becoming political here, but you have to stop and ask yourself, what more will it take before we get a handle on what's going on, not just in Chicago, but across the country? From police departments to the court systems, to prosecutors, to legislators. We have to come together and figure out a common sense solutions to these problems, because clearly too many of our citizens are being shot and killed. And what really infuriates me is that we really have the power to do something about it. I just don't know if we have the will to do it. Here in Chicago, we experienced an unacceptable and disheartening level of gun violence on the west side last night. We had several incidents here in the Ogden community that are exploring, and we are exploring potential connections, notably 2 multi-victim shooting incidents. Our first multi-victim incident was in the 2900 block of Roosevelt Avenue, Douglas Park, around 1 a.m. this morning. Now, we know that a Camaro pulled into the park and engaged another group in a gun battle. We have multiple types of ballistics from this particular incident and believe that several of our victims returned fire, possibly up to 4 or 5 different people shooting at one time. After that, around 2 a.m., we had another shooting in the 1200 block of South Troy Street. In that incident, 2 females were non-fatally wounded by gunfire, and we're currently working with them to get a better idea as to what may have prompted the attack. At 3:30 a.m., we had another multi-victim shooting in the 4200 block of West 18th Street. As of now, 8 victims have been shot in this incident, with one of them suffering fatal injuries. Area Central detectives are still out on this one, and information is coming in slowly. Some of our victims have, quite honestly, been less than forthcoming in cooperating with us. Now, what we know is that earlier in the night, around 10 p.m., a basketball game had let out in the area, and the 10th District officers recovered 3 guns off of individuals. We believe that there may have been some type of planned violence and are exploring whether the shooting at 3 a.m. was somehow related to something to do with the basketball game. From 6 p.m. yesterday to this morning, 10th District officers have recovered a total of 7 guns from these 2 locations. That means we had officers in the right place at the right times, but unfortunately it didn't seem to deter anyone from engaging in this type of behavior. The point here is that the individuals are carrying illegal guns to settle disputes and prey on rivals, because there's no consequences for carrying guns in the city of Chicago. For $1,000 and an ankle bracelet, you can walk out of jail after being arrested with military-grade assault weapons, complete with armor-piercing bullets. And I can say that because we saw that happen yesterday. So I'm frustrated at what's happening, because families are losing loved ones, we're losing friends, and what will it take for people to become sick and tired at the level of gun violence in this country? I've been a Chicago police officer for 31 years, so I've lived with this most of my adult life, and I've dedicated my professional career to try to make a difference in the city. But the fact is, the mayor and I just simply cannot be the only ones on podiums talking about the unacceptability of the current state of affairs in terms of illegal guns in the city of Chicago. So now I'd like to turn it over to Captain Gil Calderon of the 10th District, who will go through our response plan to prevent potential violence